Okay, we're going to have a very brief introduction here to using automation with Logic 9. Automation is an extremely flexible tool. I'm going to use it in a very simple way today to do what's probably the most common use of automation, which is to do a volume change. In this case, I'm going to fade a particular instrument in over a certain period of time. Okay, the instrument in question is this one here, which is playing some sort of synth chords, and at the moment they just sort of appear straight away when the MIDI region starts here. Okay, so let's show how that works. Yeah, I'm sure you'll recognize this tune. Okay, now ideally I want those chords to fade in gradually over this sort of 8-bar section until they're at their current volume now, minus 12 dB, when the drums kick in here. Okay, so how do I do that? Well, there are two main ways to use automation. You can actually record anything that you do with the mouse here. On faders or certain other parameters, write that information in and then read it back afterwards, but we're going to save that for another tutorial video. In this particular one I'm going to concentrate on drawing stuff in a sort of graph. Now how do I do that? Well, I want to do it on this track here. Now at the moment Logic isn't showing us any automation data. Okay, it's only showing us sort of MIDI regions and tracks. To get it to show automation couldn't be simpler. We press the A button, okay, and that toggles it on and off, on, off, and this button up here, automation, does the same thing. Okay, and immediately you'll see that we get these bars here which show us which parameter is being shown for automation, and in this case it's volume by default. Now notice how down here, if I zoom in a bit more, it says minus 12 dB here, and there's a line, thin line, and there it says minus 12 dB as well. Now notice when I move the main fader, that line moves with it, because that's representing the value of that fader, and that's what we're automating, that main volume fader for those chords. So how do I do that? Well, it's really pretty simple. You can draw information in here. I'll show you what I mean. If I just click anywhere here, two things happen. First of all, it creates a little dot which is known as a node there where I've clicked. The higher I click, I can do another one there, the higher the value in dB of that fader, the lower I click. Okay, so I've created an automation graph there. It goes from half a dB minus to minus 20 odd, nearly plus 5, and then minus half again. Okay, now if I play that, you'll see the fader moving accordingly. Over here, let me just zoom out. Okay. Okay, see the fader over there moving. The second thing that's happened is this read light has come on, showing that Logic is reading the automation data for that track. Okay, you can turn that off by clicking there or down here, and it doesn't read it anymore, it ignores it. Okay, but we want it to read it. Okay, now that's all very well, but that isn't what I want it to do. Not even any MIDI playing there, so we can't hear any results of that. So I want to erase that automation and start again. How do I erase it? Well, we just click on the nodes, okay, and they disappear. Okay, but let's say we don't want to just keep clicking to get rid of nodes. Let's say we want to delete a whole set of automation data in one go. How can we do that? Well, that's pretty easy too. If I zoom out, in our track parameters up here, we have track automation settings at the top. Okay, and then over here, these 4 options here relate to deleting automation. You can delete the visible automation data, or you can delete all the automation data, because you can hide automation data too. Be careful of this one, delete all automation, because that deletes every bit of automation on the entire project. Okay, only do that if you've made a right mess of everything. Usually you're going to use one of these two. Let's delete all automation of that selected track, the chords. Okay, and if we go back to our chords now, we can see that it's all gone, and we're at a steady minus half a dB there. Okay, now I said it was about 12, wasn't it, the dB, minus 12 that I wanted it to be around here. So obviously I just click here, one node, and then let me zoom in a little bit more there. Okay, maybe that way too. And I want that to say minus 12. Okay, so that's minus 12. And I wanted it to be pretty much silent at the beginning here. Okay, so let's click another node there and move that down to 0. And we've got a nice, totally smooth straight line there doing that. The other thing I'm going to do is go back to the beginning and move this first node down to 0. Makes sense because there's nothing happening there anyway. The fader might as well be down. Okay, now let's see. I might just move that a little bit before there so it doesn't not completely silent. Let's just see what that sounds like. Okay, that's not bad. Okay, yeah, that's not bad, but it's maybe taking a little bit longer than I'd like to sort of kick in there. Okay, now what I'm going to try here is making that straight line less straight, making it more of a smooth kind of hill shape. What I believe mathematicians call an exponential curve. Now we actually have a curve tool here just for automation, which is down here. It's that sort of whited out squiggly arrow. It's called the automation curve tool, and if I use that I can click on a line. It's no good doing it on a node really, you want to do it between nodes, okay, because that's where it's working. And I just drag up or down. If I drag up, it becomes a hill with a steep start and a gentle finish, or I can drag down and it becomes the opposite, gentle start and steep finish. Okay, I think because I wanted it to kick in more quickly, it's going to be the other way around. Okay, going to be something like that, maybe just a smooth curve. Okay, let's try that. Okay, that's absolutely perfect. That's exactly what I want it to do. Okay, so I think that's enough for this tutorial. In the next tutorial I'll show you how to add more lanes of automation, for instance automate a pan or some other parameter. Okay, thanks very much.